This video is sponsored by ESR Gear.
Oh, what's this? You're making music now?
Yeah, I'm making music. Wait.
What does this do?
No. Wait.
Alright.
What? Wait. Yo, chill. Testing things out, man, so people can make the most out of their iPads.
All this with an iPad, huh?
Yeah, dude, and the crazy part is that you can even play Xbox on it.
Shut up.
Yeah, here, let me show you.
So of course I'm not gonna show you how to create music, mainly because honestly I don't even know how to. Instead, I'm going to show you how to get the most out of your iPad to make sure you get the most out of your investment. I know there is this stigma online that an iPad will never replace a computer, and while that's true in a lot of use cases, you'd be surprised how much this little tablet can get done for you. For starters, it all starts with diving into the App Store. If I were you, I'd make sure I can set my priorities right and write a list of the things you'd like to accomplish with this. And it don't matter, it can be simple things such as consuming movies, writing texts, editing a few pictures, and even creating designs. The important thing is to be able to create a starting point like I did to build a good home screen. I've always said it, but a nice wallpaper is a must, and it's so easy because whether you store your wallpapers within the cloud or within a NAS like I do, you can always download them to your iPad and assign them to your home and lock screen. I do like separating these screens into three. I usually like going from productivity to entertainment to gaming. Leads me to believe that the best way to optimize these is by creating proper focus settings. This is a new way of minimizing distractions and gaining some peace of mind by giving control over what calls and notifications should be allowed to come through. Like that when you are working, consuming content, or maybe in the mood for some gaming, you have full control of your notifications. So for me, every screen deserves a custom focus so I can enjoy my time when doing certain things. I have to admit, while gaming, I let my emailing apps send me notifications through. Work is priority. Now, I usually suggest you keep the most essential apps within widgets for every screen you are working with. In productivity, I like having a proper day-to-day Google Calendar view, the weather, Google Drive, and if you find a good one, a to-do list. In the bottom corner, I do keep Notion because it literally represents my workflow at work. As for the rest of the apps, I usually organize them by priority to keep things accessible and simple. And do please use folders, mostly when you know you might use the whole Microsoft Office suite or Adobe suite. On the other hand, for entertainment, I just keep it fun and accessible. I started getting more and more into the news, so I have this massive news widget on this screen. I also do like keeping Spotify here away from when I am trying to be productive, although there's nothing wrong with listening to a podcast while working, of course. Essentially though, I have all the apps I use on a regular to consume content. Even though my work relies on social media, I still like to keep those here so I can focus on admin work when using screen 1. Screen 3 though is for mindless gaming, with the right focus mode of course. I know there's quite a lot of car simulator games on my screen, but I'm a bit of a petrol head, and my biggest recommendation on the screen is to add the continue playing widget along with the battery status widget. Like that, when you quit a game, you can always return to it, or if you are playing on Xbox Cloud Gaming, you know how much battery life the Xbox controller has left. I know, right? An Xbox controller on the iPad? Turns out that it pairs so well and it's effortless. Bet you didn't know that, right? It's not the only cool accessory though. In my opinion, to physically get the most out of your iPad, you truly need to pair it up with the right accessories, and it can be as simple as choosing a proper case. You see, ESR sent us a couple of cases that allows the iPad to serve different purposes. An accessory like the Rebound Hybrid Case 360 does not only feature a detachable magnetic cover, but this allows you to use these strong magnets for numerous configurations. So let's say you are taking notes, You can use their landscape mode while you're in class, use their viewing mode to consume content, or simply just use it as a regular stand for simple things like gaming or using Sidecar. This particular case is nice. It does have a flexible frame to take the iPad out with ease, and closing it will wrap around the Apple Pencil to avoid losing it. It's a tough case and an option to have depending on what you're willing to do with your iPad. If you do want something more simple, I do suggest you check out the Rebound magnetic case. It has strong magnets to make sure your iPad is strongly secured and allows you to use it as a drawing tablet whenever you need to. Very similar to Smart Folio, but at a fraction of the cost. Cases like such deliver functionality to your iPad and are designed for protection so you can comfortably work, play, consume content, and take notes when you need to. You can check them out in the description down below, and I'll leave a 10% off coupon code for both cases in case you want to try them out. Like that, you don't necessarily have to blow your budget on a Smart Folio when you don't need it. I do think saving a bit of money for the Magic Keyboard can be worth it. I haven't tried it yet, but you can also save money by getting Logitech's Folio Touch. If you didn't know, the iPad can be paired with a keyboard and a trackpad. The result, well, it physically resembles a MacBook and it does deliver that trackpad functionality, so it makes it easier to navigate iPadOS and type text whenever you need to. A good friend of mine does claim that the Smart Keyboard Folio and the MX Anywhere 3 does the job for him. He doesn't mind at all traveling with a cool little mouse like this one. It all comes down to portability preferences, but at the end of the day, because you can hook up any Bluetooth peripheral, it makes typing and mouse functionality super accessible. And yes, a mechanical keyboard will work as long as it has Bluetooth. As for the pen, it's a must in my opinion. After all, this is how you get the most out of your iPad, and this is where the iPad truly beats any computer out there. I know it can be a bit expensive, but if you don't necessarily need all the gimmicks, the Logitech Crayon is a budget option. Regardless, for taking notes, editing photos, playing with Photoshop on Sidecar, or on the app itself, any Apple Pencil can definitely be a great purchase. Both are extremely responsive, but the Apple Pen 2 delivers tactile touch, magnetic and body charging, and pressure sensitivity for better pencil strokes, very similar to the Apple Pencil 1. No matter what pencil you end up going with, you can make your note-taking feel like you're writing on paper. I personally did happen to use Paperlike on my screen back when I took a lot of notes, and not only it protects your devices from scratches, but it truly makes it feel like paper. And no, don't worry, it won't damage your Apple Pencil tips. I like to call this a two-bird with one stone accessory because let me tell you, these screens do scratch quite easily, mainly if you throw it in a backpack with something like a USB-C adapter. By the way, these are cool and work on most iPads. I mean, other than being able to import images to Lightroom and connecting awesome media devices to it, you can rock the iPad on a monitor. No dual monitors, so don't push it to that point. It's just super awesome to see that you can have a desktop experience when you need to. However, I truly think the experience you create can heavily depend on the apps you choose. And I hate to break it to you, but the best apps are often locked behind a paywall. It's quite normal, you know, that if you want the power of Photoshop on your iPad, well, you need to be enrolled within the Adobe suite. Or if you want to edit on a proper video editor that can handle 4K footage with no problems, it's going to cost you some money. From experience and the testings I've done with LumaFusion, a paid app, this is one of the best video editors on the iPad and integrates extremely well with cloud services such as Google Drive. I think this is where the Files app can truly shine too, so if you do decide to use your dongle to also connect an SSD, you can import that footage into Files and import it into LumaFusion. Professional apps that cost money will go that extra mile to make the most out of your iPad. Another one I've recently started using is Gadget 2. I wanted to go crazy with this one, and it's why I bought a MIDI keyboard so I could try to make beats. I'm by no means an expert, but the more I play with the app, the more I see why it costs money. Apps like such really unlock a whole new world that even I wasn't aware of. To put into perspective, the fact that you can connect a mobile MIDI keyboard by Bluetooth to produce music is already quite insane. Way cooler than importing my pictures to Lightroom directly from an SD card. By the way, this is my app of choice when I edit photos. We recently got an A7 Mark IV to shoot cooler pictures, and the iPad handles the raw files like a charm. I have absolutely no issues editing on photos on Lightroom. As for notes, GoodNotes 5 is by far my favorite note-taking app. I did use Notability throughout my whole degree, but last year we had worked on a sponsorship with GoodNotes, and ever since I discovered it, I've been loving it and recommending it. It's such an easy and intuitive app that allows you to stay super organized at school. Whether that's by making your notes look super pretty, importing books into the app, or even taking pictures of assignments to submit them electronically, GoodNotes makes all of your student workflow less of a headache. I do wish it had the voiceover recording feature Notability has, because it allows you to record a lecture, so when you play it back, it shows you the actual notes you took at specific times. Kind of a game changer if you ask me. And so no matter what type of workflow you end up using, paid apps is what truly unlocks the iPad. I mean, even Office 365 works super well on it. You might not have all the features the desktop version delivers, but it still works like a charm, mostly when writing essays. All of these apps do come together nicely within iPadOS, and so let's not forget that multitasking is a thing here. My suggestion is take a moment and go over some nice tips and tricks iPadOS has to offer. The fact that you can browse Safari, take notes, and watch a Netflix movie at the same time is already very impressive. The newer updates did make the multitasking easier, so you can drag and move apps around. Just know that not all apps allow you to split views, although you can still have some nice windows hovering over your main application. Just like the fact that you can pinch the keyboard and have it hovering around the screen for better use. But my favorite tips and tricks have to do with the pencil itself. It's actually a very powerful little tool that can complement an entire workflow, to the point that it allows you to use the pen in the search bar to look for specific apps, or also take quick screenshots by swiping up diagonally from the bottom left corner of the iPad. The other corner does allow for quick notes if you wish to do so, and it's no surprise to me that Notes really does deliver the absolute most out of your pencil. You see, with the Notes, instead of using the redo or undo buttons, you can swipe left or right to mimic these functions with 3 fingers. You can also use the smart text feature to recognize dates, emails, and phone numbers to perform further action. Notes also allows for shape recognition, which is very similar to GoodNotes and Notability, but essentially you can draw perfect shapes to make drawings and notes look even better. The best thing though is Scribble. Scribble is a feature that uses the Apple Pencil to handwrite in any text area to convert it into a type. So you can essentially do things such as convert handwriting into text, delete words by scratching them out, draw a line over a word to select it, insert new words into a sentence, and even separate a word or letters by drawing vertical lines. The Apple Pencil also works with Sidecar. If you are not aware, Sidecar is like the perfect companion for Macs. It essentially allows you to use your iPad as a second monitor and do awesome things with it. I personally more often use it for coding whenever I need a terminal window on the side, or I also use it within Photoshop with the help of the Apple Pencil. Works really well, and it can allow you to save some money and avoid getting a Wacom tablet for a bit. However, the Wacom tablet is still by far a better tool. I just think it's awesome to see that Apple have included this feature to really unlock the iPad's full potential. Who knows, with time we might see better functionality so you can truly replace a dedicated drawing tablet. One thing you can't replace though is definitely your console. Well, sort of. I actually tried to play Forza Horizon 5 on this, but it's not the best by any means. Because I pay a membership for Xbox Game Pass, I am allowed to use their cloud gaming computers to host games through the iPad. I can grab a controller, connect it via Bluetooth, and play any game within their library whenever and wherever I want to. As long as I have a good internet connection, of course. But the thing is that it's far from perfect. So far that I just rather stick to arcade games. The input lags are actually massive, and it's not that much of an enjoyable experience, although I've heard Google Stadia delivers a better gaming experience. I haven't tried it, but if that's the case, it's quite impressive to see. I would say just stick to regular games. I usually game on the iPad whenever I'm away. Games like PUBG or Call of Duty have been actually fun to play. Just know that something like the Air 5 makes it a bit hard due to its size, but it does just fine. There's a whole library of games to discover, and it's extremely fun knowing that games are getting better and better on mobile. The goal of this video is to make most people realize that the iPad is no ordinary tablet. It's by no means a laptop replacement in many of the workflows out there, but it can definitely allow you to leave your laptop at home in some cases. There are so many things to be said about the iPad, and I hope to deliver more and more iPad content throughout the year. I think it's the perfect tool for students and a perfect tool to integrate into your life. My favorite iPad is the new iPad Air 5, but the Pro really has its place. Let me know with a comment down below what iPad you have and why you have it. I will see you all soon. Take care.